Hi guys, today I'll be doing a comparison video of the 3 best PlayStation and PC racing wheels in the mid-range price bracket. So the new Logitech RS50, the Fanatec GTDD Pro and the Thrustmaster T598, and I'll see how they compare against each other in terms of quality, performance and their feel. Plus I'll give you my overall thoughts on which one is the best, giving you any pros and cons to give you a better idea of which one to go for. Details for all the items I'll be showing today are in the description below, including purchasing links. But before I begin, if you're new to the channel, hope you can support me by subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notified of my next release. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Let's first take a look at what you get in each of the bundles and their prices. First up is the Logitech RS50. The bundle comes with a wheelbase and wheel, but you'll have to purchase the RS pedals separately, with the complete package costing $860. The Fanatec GTDD Pro QR2 8Nm bundle comes as a complete package with a wheelbase, wheel and pedals for $990, but just to note, there is a 5Nm bundle for $880 where you could increase the power at a later stage to 8Nm by buying the Boost Kit 180 for $120. And finally the Thrustmaster T598. This bundle also comes with a wheelbase, wheel and pedals for only $600, with it being the cheapest out of the three. Let's start by taking a look at the wheelbases. First up is the Logitech RS wheelbase. It has a hexagon shape with it being metal all the way around. At the front it has a plastic cover and you've got an OLED display with a button next to it allowing you to quickly change settings, together with there being a wheel mounting point. Over to the back, which also has a plastic cover with True Force written on it and a glossy G in the middle with a stop start button on the left. You've got your ports along the bottom, and coming underneath you've got 2 slide rails where you slot in the T-nuts provided, and you'd use this for mounting purposes. The wheelbase provides 8Nm of torque with it supporting True Force. And just to note, True Force is only supported by Logitech and is not something available on the other wheelbases. Next we have the Fanatec GTDD Pro, which also gives 8Nm of torque. Both the front and back is made of strong plastic and the sides are metal, which acts as a heatsink. You have notches on the sides and bottom used for mounting purposes, and you'd place the T-nuts in there to allow you to easily mount it on a sim cockpit. There's a power button at the front together with a connection point for the wheel. Coming around the back there's a round blue trim and you have a selection of ports at the bottom. And finally onto the Thrustmaster T598 wheelbase, which gives 5Nm of torque, with it featuring a 10Nm overboost, which means during intense moments like hitting curbs, gear shifts or sudden collisions, the motor can momentarily push beyond its constant torque rating, so it's only in short bursts. The wheelbase is made of plastic, with it having an 8-sided octagon shape. You have the Thrustmaster logo at the top together with 4 buttons, which includes a setting button, L3 and R3 buttons and a mode button. In the middle you have an LCD display which they call the race dash screen, and this displays the in-game telemetry data, and from here you can adjust and save settings. It has air vents at the front with a mounting point for the wheel rim in the middle. On the back it has Thrustmaster logo in the middle and you have your ports at the bottom. Onto the wheels. First up is the Logitech RS50 wheel, which is the RS round wheel that was introduced last year with the RS wheel hub. It measures 29 centimeters or 11.4 inches in diameter, with a low carbon aluminium wheel rim with a silicone leather stitched all the way around, with a white coloured center marker at the top, together with the G logo in the middle. The build quality feels good, with the edges nicely moulded around the aluminium spokes, with the silicone leather stitched together on the inner part of the rim. Around the centre you have 6 bolt holes used to attach the wheel rims, together with an additional 3 on either side of the shifters and a third at the bottom, which are secured from the back to keep the rim even more secure. There's no indents on the wheel as it's smooth all the way around, making it perfect for rallying or drifting. Looking at the wheel hub, you've got a selection of buttons which also include the PlayStation buttons, a joystick and 2 dials. There's also a LightSync RGB LED rev lights at the top which are configurable, and a single LED light at the bottom just below the PlayStation button. At the back you've got Logitech's quick release system and paddle shifters which have a brushed metallic effect and are magnetic, providing a nice clicky sound when pressing down. They're adjustable, so you can adjust them by 12mm to suit different wheel sizes, and you can do this by unscrewing the 2 screws and pushing the shifters in or out. You can also completely remove them by removing the screws and pulling the shifters away. Logitech don't have a selection of different wheels, but they do give the ability of switching wheel rims, with there being a small selection available. Plus they have the Logitech RS adapter where you're able to attach an aftermarket wheel, but that's only compatible on a PC. Moving on to the Fanatec steering wheel, which is designed by Polyphony Digital, who are the developers of Gran Turismo, as it's developed especially for the Gran Turismo game. But this wheel will work with other games too. It's round with a 280mm diameter and straightened off at the bottom, so it has a D shape. It has rubber grips around the rim and the blue center marker. It's made from plastic but reinforced with fiberglass to make this solid, and you have the Gran Turismo logo in the center. There's an LED screen which displays in white. To the side you have a tuning button where you can switch between your different profile settings, and above that there's a rev counter which is diffused to yellow, red and blue. It has the PlayStation buttons and a unique array of 4 5-way directional sticks, allowing you to individually adjust the traction control, brake balance, etc. There's paddle-like buttons for the L2, L3 and R2 and R3. On the back you have your paddle shifters, which are made of plastic and also have a nice clicky sound when you use them. The bundle I've got has a quick release mechanism which has a plastic twist locking mechanism, but you can upgrade to a quick release adapter. In terms of ecosystem of wheels, Fanatec have a larger selection available with quite a varied selection, so you can upgrade at a later stage if you wanted to. On to Thrustmaster's sports car wheel rim. It has an 11.8 inch diameter, weighing just 811 grams, with 4 metallic strips around the wheel, perforated rubber grips on the side with smooth rubber on the top and bottom. In the middle you have the Thrustmaster logo in white with a plastic build and a fake carbon fiber weave pattern on the faceplate. There's a number of controls around the faceplate consisting of the L2 and R2 buttons and the PlayStation X, O, triangle and square. You have a D-pad on the left and an encoder selection on the right. At the bottom of the faceplate you have the PlayStation button in the middle, a share button and an option button. On the back you have the mounting point with magnetic paddle shifters. I was a bit surprised about the wheel as it feels very light with plastic and rubber, feeling quite cheap. But in terms of ecosystem, Thrustmaster do have a good selection of wheels available if you wanted to upgrade. Moving on to the pedals, first up is the Logitech RS pedals, with both of them made from steel and finished in matte black, with them mounted on a pedal plate, providing adjustability so you can bring the pedals closer together if you wanted to. Both the pedals are spring loaded. The accelerator works off a Hall effect sensor which works on the distance travelled, whereas the brake pedal has a 75 kilogram load cell kit that works off the pressure you put on it, so just like a real car. The brake force can be adjusted from 1 kilogram to 75 kilograms in the Logitech G-Hub software. You also have the ability to customize the feel of the brake pedal by lifting the 2 levers at the back and using different combination of dampers and spacers to change how stiff you want the brake pedal to feel. Looking at the bottom of the pedals, and each pedal has anti-slip rubber pads in 3 locations to stop it slipping. But if you plan to use the pedals on a carpet, you can attach the carpet grippers they provide to each of the pedals from underneath using 2 screws. And I found this actually gripped carpet pretty well. If you didn't have a sim rig and were planning to use the pedals at your desk, then the bundle also comes with a set of extenders that help to avoid tipping. There's 2 positions for this. You can either have them extended out or flipped up as a wall brace, and you secure them into position using the screws provided. Next, taking a closer look at Fanatec CSL pedals. These come pre-assembled and attached to a pedal plate. They can be easily adjusted if you wanted to bring them closer together. It's constructed of heavy steel and you have plastic pedal plates that can be adjusted higher if required. Looking underneath, you have 4 rubber feet to stop the pedal slipping on a surface. The brake and accelerator work off a Hall effect sensor. The brake has a stiffer spring and it's combined with a PU foam damper to give a more realistic feel, but there's no load cell kit, so it doesn't give a realistic braking experience. However, you do have the option of upgrading to a load cell kit which works off the pressure applied. So if you do get this, you can switch the existing brake to a clutch pedal by removing the PU foam damper. And finally, over to Thrustmaster's Raceline pedals. Again, like the competition, it's a 2 pedal set, but in comparison, the pedal plate is quite small. Both the brake and accelerator are spring loaded, with them working off a Hall effect sensor. The brake doesn't have a load cell, but it does have a stop rod where you can add a buffer and spring, with the packaging coming with 2 different spring options. You can also adjust the amount of resistance you want for each of the pedals, as there are 3 notches for the level of resistance you want. The further out you move the buffer, you'll see a reduction in resistance. In terms of upgrades, in the future there will be a pedal upgrade kit coming soon, which will allow you to swap in a load cell brake pedal, but there's no clutch upgrade options. So I think this is intentional, as the pedal plate would be too small to attach an additional pedal to. So if you wanted a 3 pedal set, you'd want to buy the Raceline Pedals 3. They look identical but have a larger pedal plate. Moving on to the software and customization, Logitech have their Logitech G Hub app. For the wheel, you can adjust a number of settings related to the wheel, like the operating range, dampener, strength, force feedback filter, and true force audio, together with customizing the rev counter. For the pedals, you can combine the pedals, adjust the sensitivity of each of the pedals, and change the brake force. There's also an advanced option for each of the pedals where you can select between low, linear, and high, selecting the 3 dots at the side, and you can view the sensitivity curve, with you able to make your own adjustments. Plus you also have the ability of adjusting settings directly on the wheelbase, but there's no mobile app with this. Onto Fanatec, which has an app called Fanatec's Control Panel. This has a lot of customization available on all the different accessories, with it providing a lot of granular customizations. You also have the ability of changing settings directly on the wheel, which works really well. And they've introduced an Android and iOS app allowing you to make changes on the fly from your mobile, and you can even use your phone as a racing display, which is pretty cool. But this functionality is only supported on a PC and not on a console, as it requires you to have the Fanatec Tray app installed, which is now part of the Control Panel installation package. And finally, over to Thrustmaster. App customization wise, there's no mobile app for Android or Apple, just a PC app available via the Microsoft Store called My Thrustmaster Panel. This allows you to adjust a variety of different settings, ranging from power levels, inertia, friction, and wheel damper, to name a few. It's simple to use with quite an intuitive feel to it, together with having a good amount of customization. Out of the 3 brands, I'd say Fanatec has the edge, with the app providing more granular customization compared to the others. Let's move on to testing out these wheels. All 3 wheelbases performed really well. Noise levels wise, they're all pretty quiet, and even after racing for a couple of hours, they don't feel hot. They're all direct drive systems where they provide feedback in the same way. It's essentially a motor on which you can mount your steering wheel, which gives you strong, incredibly smooth, and detailed force feedback. The racing experience on these wheels is excellent, giving an awesome racing experience. It feels really smooth, refined, and gives a lot of details from bumps, curbs, and the track itself. In terms of the driving experience, the Logitech and Fanatec wheelbases use a direct drive motor, with them both providing a very similar experience. I'd say they're equally the best in terms of providing very detailed and refined force feedback, together with them giving the smoothest driving experience. I'd say Logitech had the edge here with its True Force, adding an additional layer of immersion. True Force is limited to a small number of games, but it's one of the main differences between the RS50 and the other direct drive wheelbases on the market. As with True Force enabled, you experience the in-game physics, road conditions, and motor vibrations, adding an extra layer of immersion to the whole experience. I can even feel the vibrations coming through to the sim racing frame, adding to the immersion, giving quite a good experience. As it's only available in a small selection of games, it's definitely worth checking if it's supported on any of the games you're planning to play, so you're not left disappointed. The Thrustmaster T598 is slightly different, as it uses an axial flux motor designed to reduce cogging. It generally performed really well, delivering a very smooth and responsive feedback, but with its lower sustained torque of 5 Newton meters, it made it feel slightly less refined than the others. If you were upgrading from an entry-level wheel like the Logitech G29, G920 or the G923, which are internally made up of plastic cogs and gears, which have more of a notchy feel, where you can feel the cogs inside turning as you're playing, making it feel like a toy. Whereas a direct drive wheel is much smoother, with it being much quieter, providing a lot more detail. The difference is literally like night and day. With the force feedback from the direct drive, you can feel the wheel with a rumble coming from it, bumping into curbs or coming off the track. You can feel the sensation feeding coming back to you from the wheel. In terms of power, Logitech and Fanatec felt similar at 8 Newton meters of torque, giving a pretty good racing experience, and even the Thrustmaster with its 5 Newton meters felt just as good, with it having an additional feedback option which the others didn't, which is the gear jolt, where you can feel a jolt coming through to you via the wheel when you changed gears, which actually worked really well. Something I think would be good if the other wheels had this option too, I'd say. Out of the 3 wheelbases, I'd say Logitech and Fanatec have the best build quality, with Thrustmaster feeling the cheapest with a plastic casing and with it being larger in size, which I found to be a slight disadvantage depending on the rig you have. I tried it with the Playseat Challenge X Logitech G Edition, where it just felt too high and the frame had no ability to take the wheel mount lower. All the wheels generally performed pretty well, with a good feel to them, with them all having a rev indicator, but Thrustmaster's one is quite small. In terms of build quality, Thrustmaster has the cheapest feel to it. Fanatec is mid-range, with Logitech definitely having more of a premium build with the best quality compared to the others. Ecosystem wise, Fanatec and Thrustmaster offer the most in terms of additional wheels, where you can buy a variety of different rims, giving the most flexibility, whereas with Logitech you'd either keep your wheel hub and buy a new wheel rim, or buy a new wheel hub and wheel rim, but all the wheel hubs are generally identical, with just a few differences in button layout depending on the wheel hub you go for. Onto the pedals, and Fanatec's ones felt great. They have a solid feel, made from heavy steel with no sideways play. The accelerator is nice and smooth, with the brake having a stiffer spring combined with a PU foam dampener, providing a more realistic progressive feel. Over to Thrustmaster's pedals, and they generally worked fine with no issues, but honestly, with them providing quite a decent wheelbase, you'd expect the pedals to match that performance, but unfortunately they don't, so quite disappointing. They feel the cheapest, like something a young child would use, and there's no option to buy a clutch either, so a little bit disappointed by that. And finally onto Logitech's one, which feel great. They have a solid feel, made from heavy steel with no sideways play, and is the only one that actually comes with a load cell. Plus you can adjust the dampers to allow you to adjust the feel of the brake to give either a softer or harder feel as you push down. You even get a set of extenders providing additional functionality if you raced at your desk. In my opinion, out of the 3, the Logitech RS50 and the RS pedals were definitely the best, both in performance, build and what it had to offer. But worth adding, in terms of ecosystem, Logitech is still quite limited, with most people still waiting for them to release a Pro H pattern shifter. So if you're after additional wheels and other peripherals, Fanatec is the best, followed closely by Thrustmaster with their variety of options available. So there you have it. You've come to the end of another video, and I hope it's helped anyone deciding on which bundle they were thinking of purchasing. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links of all the items I've shown today. And if you have any questions on anything I've mentioned in today's review, then let me know in the comments below. For those of you who've got to the end of this video, please leave a comment with best PSDD, as it's nice to see who's got to the end of my video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on all my socials. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to be notified of my next release. Thanks for viewing, and see you in the next one.